Welcome and welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is Art to the Round Table. My name is Mello. This drawing is my take on the biblical figure Samson, a man of incredible strength, standing in his final moments of his redemption. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you my complete drawing process, all in pencil, from sketch to signature, and some of the lessons that art teaches us along the way. Samson is one of the most powerful figures in history, not just because of his strength, but because of his flaws. He wasn't perfect, he made mistakes, he struggled, and that's what made him so compelling for me to draw. When I started this piece, I wasn't just thinking about his power, I was thinking about his humanity, the weight of his choices, the exhaustion, the determination, his redemption. It was a lot, and I wanted to capture that moment where strength isn't just about muscles, but about resilience. I thought about how we all experience moments like this, times when we feel unstoppable, and at times when we feel completely lost. And that's what makes Samson's story so powerful to me, because it reminds me, and us, that being strong isn't just about winning, it's about enduring. When I first started this drawing, I knew one thing. It had to feel real, not just in the details, but in the energy. I used to rush through my art. I'd sketch something out quickly, eager to see it finished without appreciating the process. But in time, I realized that some of the best pieces that I've done, the ones that truly feel alive to me, are the ones that I've taken the most time. With Samson, that lesson felt even more meaningful. His story is one of endurance. He fought through struggles, through loss, through betrayal. And in that, I saw a reflection of what creating art feels like. It takes effort, patience, and sometimes luck. So I made myself slow down here. It doesn't show it in the speed art, but I wanted to focus on smaller things. The way his muscles tensed as he pulled on the chains from the temple pillars. Some of the destruction later on in the background. The weight in his face. Every detail builds the moment, and every second that I spent on the process made this piece feel stronger. And that's something I want other artists, young artists, to know. Great art isn't rushed. It unfolds, it grows, and the longer you let yourself sink into it, the more powerful it becomes. I'll be honest, this drawing wasn't easy. There were moments where I felt stuck, where something didn't quite look right, where I would question whether I was capturing what I wanted. And in those moments, I had to remind myself there's nothing wrong with asking for help. Even Samson, the strongest man in the Bible, had to ask for help in his final moment. After all his victories, all his failures, he had to reach out, acknowledge his limits, and rely on something beyond himself. And that's stuck with me, because whether it's in art or in life, none of us can do everything alone. And for this piece, I would step away when I needed to. I would ask my family for feedback. I looked at references, and I reminded myself that struggling didn't mean failing. It just means learning. And when I finally returned to get back to the drawing with fresh eyes, things started to fall into place. Art teaches us patience, but it also teaches us a bit of humility. The strongest people, the most creative minds, aren't afraid to ask for guidance when they need it. That's one of the biggest lessons that I've learned through this current creative journey I've been going through. When I started drawing Samson, I had a choice. Do I make him look like a superhero, all muscles and perfection? If you've gone through my channel, you'll understand that thinking and that question. But I chose to draw him a bit more realistic. And by doing so, I think I'm showcasing his humanity more. The scars, the fatigue, the raw emotion of his face, mid-prayer and released. I think it tells a better story, one that goes beyond power. Because at the end of the day, true strength isn't about looking invincible. It's about pushing forward, I think, no matter how broken you feel. The drawing wasn't just about capturing his strength. It was about capturing what it meant to be strong and human at the same time. This is where the drawing really came to life for me. When I started working on the destruction and the smoke effects, the debris, I stopped thinking about every little detail and just let myself get lost in it. I used pencil shavings to create atmosphere, rough strokes to make the scene feel raw and chaotic. And in those moments, the art stopped being technical, it became instinctual. I love that feeling. That moment when the pressure fades and you're just creating. No overthinking, no doubting, just letting the work and your piece guide you. And that is the beauty of drawing. It's not just about perfect proportions or flawless lines. It's about expression. It's about getting lost in the process and letting yourself be surprised by what you create. That's how I approached this piece. I let Samson's story shape the mood, the textures, the movement, and by the time I stepped back from it all, I wasn't just looking at a drawing, I was looking at a moment that felt alive. So if you're an artist, or really if you're into creating anything, remember this, please. Lose yourself in it. That's when it happens, that's when the magic happens. And it did, and I was in it. I can hear the fire crackling, I can hear the chains rattling and the smoke billowing, I can hear crowds, I can hear clamoring, I can hear debris, everything. I was using my fingers, I was all dirty, it felt tactile. I felt a bit of me in every bit that I was doing at this point. I can squinting through smoke and fire to see this image. And it was awesome. My hands were dirty. I think I had graphite on my face. It was great. From this point on in the video, the drawing and the composition is all pretty much done. The foundation is set, and I'm simply tweaking and sharpening my lines and adding and subtracting to create compelling visual frames using the smoke. And so why not use this time to share with you the tools I'm using and some of the techniques. The paper I'm using is B Paper Company. I bought this huge, it's like 120 pages. It's a mixed media pad, and it was just too big and unwielding, so I grabbed like 20 sheets of it and I taped it onto that board there. It makes it a little bit better to use, and it's what I've been doing for my gouache paintings. Anyway, the pencils that I'm using on my blue pencil holder is just 2H, and on that silver one there, it is 2B. I'm using a kneaded eraser, some tissue, and then the shavings from when I sharpened those is what I'm using for the smoke and the fire. So you noticed earlier, I'll just dump a little bit of the pencil shavings on the paper where I want, and either using my finger or using some tissue to create shapes that to me look like fire or whatever, or smoke. And then I'll use a kneaded eraser. I'll try to pinch some sharp edges onto it and use it to remove, and working with negative space being the fire and the graphite being the smoke to create that effect that you see there. This was probably one of the only times that I didn't mind that my hand was smudging some of the pencil marks that's on the page, because I was using it to my advantage. It was just used to enhance some of the chaos in the background. Also, again with the paper, although it was mixed media, I had no intention and have no intention to paint this drawing. I just really like the texture of the paper, the mixed media paper. I like the way the pencil feels drawing on it. And I've been actually having a lot of fun with this paper, and I'm glad that I actually bought that giant sketch pad when I did. And there it is, you guys. Samson's prayer. Samson wasn't just a hero, he was human. He struggled, he endured, he fought through moments of weakness, and in the end, he found his purpose. And in a way, that's the same energy we go through as artists. Patience, resilience, knowing when to step back and knowing when to dive in. That's what makes this thing we call art so great. This drawing taught me a lot, not just about technique, but about what it means to create with intention. And I hope that message resonates with you guys, with you all. Let me know in the comments, how do you lose yourself in your art? What challenges have you faced in the creative process? I'd love to hear your story. And if this is the kind of content that inspires you, don't forget to subscribe, hit a like, leave a comment, and let's keep creating together. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for hanging out with me. This is Arts of the Round Table. My name is Mello, and as always, I'll draw you later. Bye-bye.